Happy Sunday to you. I wanted to make an outdoor video today, as you can see from the first part, but it was very cold and windy. So after walking home from Mass, I decided to make coffee instead because the emphasis today is things that bring me joy and things that probably bring a lot of people joy. And one of those things is sunshine and flowers like columbine. Also going to Mass and being in that little grotto there at my parish. Those all bring me joy, but so does coffee. I really like beverages, but pretty much all kinds of beverages, tea, hot cocoa, coffee, alcoholic beverages too, though I don't really drink alcohol anymore. There are a lot of them that I enjoy. I know you're seeing a static scene of my coffee making items, my French press and my tea kettle. So let's get started. I'm making some coffee. This will probably get a little noisy. I make coffee while I'm doing my morning workout, and if I'm listening to a workout video, I really can't hear the video. Not that I need to hear it per se. Okay, so I'm going to get my coffee out. The cupboard. This coffee's almost gone. It is the Target brand organic Sumatra Mantini. So it's almost gone, but there's enough to make a small pot. So I'm going to do that. It smelled really nice, and actually this is the first time I've ever bought this coffee. I just happened to be at Target getting something else, and I remembered that I was out of coffee, so I got it. It was actually, still smells nice. It was nice fresh coffee, and it has that bit of a bite to it. A lot of the Sumatra coffees do. They tend to be on the stronger side, and this one says it's a medium roast, but it's kind of like a dark medium. I think Starbucks may have redefined what we mean by medium roast, because a lot of their medium roasts are medium dark. And that is our biggest influence for coffee in this nation is Starbucks. I don't have any problem with Starbucks coffee. Some people are very snooty about it. I really don't have any problem with it. There's my fingers tapping, waiting for my coffee. Meanwhile, I don't even know if I have any mugs. I have one clean. So, yay! This is my Sophia's Kitchen. Sophia's Kitchen, I think they're still open in Sapporo. A lot of the restaurants have closed over the past few years, and new ones opened up because, well, mostly COVID and also other factors. But Sapporo's like a lot of towns in New Mexico. There doesn't seem to be a great desire with city councils in New Mexico to bring new businesses in, and letting them die doesn't seem to be a problem either, which is very sad, I think. But anyway, I bought this because I liked it, and they had them on sale for $5 when I went to pay once, you know, for my green chili. I probably had. I used to get their smothered burgers, so that it would be like this giant meat patty covered with homemade French fries and then red chili and cheese, and so that's what I used to get. And then when I went to pay for it, I'm like, oh, I want one of those mugs, so I have that. It's my only mug that's clean because I haven't run the dishwasher. I know, that's more information than you want. Or even care to have. I like French press coffee. It makes it very robust. I also like drip coffee. I tend to drink drip coffee at work and French press at home. Sometimes I have Keurig, but not very often. I don't prefer it. You have to buy good coffee pods and make sure that you don't use a lot of water if you want them to taste nice and strong and robust. And I'm really a black coffee drinker. Black, robust coffee makes me very happy. And it fuels the writing life, and it makes me happy. So yes, I had thought about, how I could direct this video channel towards writing and what I could focus on, because I tend to focus mostly on my accordion and the Catholic Church, but those are big parts of my life. So because I really, really want to learn the accordion well. It's one of my life goals, and I started late in life, and so I have that to overcome, but I plan to accomplish that. Accomplish. Everything is a process, so is playing any instrument. I am where I'm at, but I want to get to the point where I can get through songs easily without screwing up and hitting wrong notes. Hitting wrong notes on an accordion sounds really awful. Unfortunately, that's just the way the instrument is, and the kind that I play is a diatonic, and it plays a different note in than out. So if I forget and play out instead of in, you hit, gosh, sometimes the notes are just so screechy and awful. So I'm impatient because I want this coffee, and you really want it to steep a little bit. And in fact, usually you want to stir it up to let the coffee sort of bloom in the water, but I'm being lazy and I'm not doing that. But I am going to let it sit for at least a couple of minutes while I'm talking, because I want it to be nice and robust. I used to have a tripod for my phone, and that would have been a nice instrument to use to make coffee, to have hands-free, but I don't know what happened to it. And so I have this kind of propped up against a book, and it's working okay, I guess, because the emphasis is on the coffee and the coffee pot. And I don't know, how do you like your coffee? Do you drink coffee? Are you a tea drinker? I really like both. I like all kinds of tea. I like herbal teas, I like green teas, I like black teas, I like all kinds of spices in my tea. I just like tea and coffee. And very, very occasionally I might have a fancier coffee drink with whole milk, usually. Like a latte made with whole milk is okay. I like that. I'm not fond of sweet drinks. Hot cocoa, but I don't usually even add sugar in my hot cocoa. I just stir cocoa into hot milk. Just not really a sweet person. Well, maybe I'm a sweet, I don't know. I can't comment on that, but I don't like to consume sweets. There does seem to be something about personalities where sweet people crave sweet things. I'm getting impatient, so I'm just gonna plunge it down. And there we go. Now you can watch me pour this amazing coffee. I would do like a whole food porn, I shouldn't use that word at all in my video, but I would do that kind of video, but I actually ate a big breakfast and I'm not even very hungry. So I will meet up with you when I move my camera out of the kitchen. So to continue with what I had started before, my coffee, for example, I was thinking about the need to focus on a theme for my videos, because I have none. And I think the one theme that I would like to focus on a little bit more is staying healthy as a writer, because writers, honestly, they're in their heads a lot, and it's also a very sedentary activity. And the combination of being in your head and being sedentary is, as we probably all know, not really great for the health. And so what do? I mean, coffee is helpful to invigorate the mind. I believe that. Of course, if you're not drinking too much, because too much coffee could make you agitated and anxious instead. I've heard that. I don't know. I don't drink. I've never drunk enough to get to that point of agitation before. But a sedentary lifestyle is not good. And being somebody who works in an office, I have to figure out ways to
cope with my sedentary lifestyle. And because even if you're thin, like I am definitely in my in an optimal BMI for my age, height, and all that, it doesn't really change the fact that I have a very sedentary lifestyle. And what can I do to make changes? But honestly, we all know what to do to make changes. We have to get out, we have to get outside, and we have to experience the sunshine. And like I said, I wanted to do a video outdoors today, but it's cold and windy, and the cold doesn't really bother me as much as having a cold wind blow around. I can't deal with that cold wind. I don't like that. So indoors it is with my coffee. My coffee is just going to have to replace that. But honestly, I do some walking every day. That is the first thing that you should know as a rider that you should do. And riders already know this. They know that they need to get more activity. It's a matter of making it a daily habit. Well, how do you make a daily habit? Well, you do it every day. You force yourself to. You set a time clock and you follow that routine. Unfortunately, not everybody is a routine oriented. Well, I mean, everybody's routine oriented, but they're not as strict to their routines as I am, and I'm unfortunately very strict to my routine. That's probably not as good for my health as well. I mean, it will have its benefits, as in, since I walk every day, and it's part of my habit, and I don't want to miss my daily walk unless I'm sick or something. I'm going to do it, but I want to get to the point where I'm not like completely paranoid if I don't go for my daily walk, because that's also not really good for the health. And that's the way I kind of get. I get really upset if my daily routine is interrupted, and so that's probably not good for my mental health. But it's always helped me to accomplish things too, so I can say, well, it has its negatives and its positives, because it helps me to complete things, but it also gets me in this mindset of where if somebody tries to change my routine at the last minute, I kind of get upset. And I got much more upset when I was younger than I do now, but it still bothers me. It's really hard to just make that change. And you know, I raised 4 children. I know how to switch on a dime to emergency situations and having to deal with problems. That part's okay. I mean, that just became part of my life, and part of the routine was having to address problems as they came up. And I got, I think, reasonable at it. It's been a learning process for my entire adult life. And I don't know if all riders are like this. I don't think they are, because there are a lot of riders who have to force themselves to sit down every day and make a habit of it, and to exercise too. And I know, because I talk to other riders and they have a hard time sticking to those kinds of routines. They will start a routine of, like, maybe they've got the riding routine down because they are a rider. So if you're not riding, you're not really a rider. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But they will make attempts at starting exercise routines and good eating habits, and you know, anything will set them back, because everything else is more important and takes priority over keeping a healthy body. And if you really want to have a healthy mind, you have to have a healthy body too. And there are so many things in life that we have no control over. We can't control our genetics. We can't control accidents that happen to us that are out, you know, I mean, obviously we can take care that we don't have accidents, but a true accident that we did nothing to affect, we can't do anything about that. Those things happen in life, and also we can't always know what's going on inside our body. We can't say what triggers cancer cells to grow, for example. But we can do something about our day-to-day lives and how active we stay and how healthy we eat. And it's very important to me. It's something that I work on my health a lot. And I don't think I'm overly scrupulous, because, well, this is kind of funny, because I have a coworker whose family uses the Yuka app, And he said, you don't want to use it because it's going to make you like paranoid about everything, and it's really terrible. And he says his wife whips it out and uses it because basically you can use it to scan barcodes, and then the app will rate what you are purchasing. And I made the mistake of doing that with some of my healthcare products, like my lotions and things like that. And that was a big mistake, because some of the products I thought were fine because I buy fragrance free. They seem better than the average. Well, no. And in fact, what I learned is that when you buy the generic brand items that are made to be identical to the name brand, they often get a poor rating, whereas the name brand does not. It really depends on what it is, but I found that was the case with some of the facial cleansers that I was looking at. Some of the ones that I was tempted to buy because they were cheaper, and they were supposed to be, compared to this item, they would get a poor rating because they added one ingredient in there that is, I don't know, known to cause cancer or something. I don't really know. It's kind of scary when you look at it. I don't know how accurate the Yuka app is. I don't know how much it's some other companies' paranoia that they're passing on to all of us, because that can be an issue. You don't want to be paranoid about ingredients, but they let a lot of ingredients pass that they say has minimal effect, going down the list, minimal impact, minimal effect, will give a better rating. And then there are some ingredients that will just extremely lower their rating. And that was kind of shocking to me. So I don't even know if I want to use this now, because I went to the store. A lot of times I will just put an order in and I don't go inside the store. This is, I don't know, part of my sedentary lifestyle, I guess. I just get really busy, and also just trying to stay on a budget. It's easier to stay on a budget when you can let the app calculate how much it's going to cost you. But yesterday, I put in all my groceries in the app, and then I went in the store and I just deleted them as I put them in my cart. That's how I dealt with that. That way I didn't have to make somebody else get my groceries. But I had time yesterday. I mean, I guess I always have time if I make time to actually go in the grocery store. I don't like shopping. It drives me crazy. But I did download this Yuka app, and I went around like scanning barcodes. I'm like, oh my goodness, because my hands get so dry. I mean, it's New Mexico, right? So, and I also worked in food service for enough years that my skin kind of got wrecked on my hands, unfortunately. So I'm always looking for some like heavy duty moisturizer to heal the skin on my hands, and pretty much everything was getting a poor rating. Like not just poor, but bad. Like I'm talking 10 to 30 out of 100 bad. And I was like, what? But I did find one that got an excellent rating, and I purchased that instead. I think it was Aveeno, but it was a very specific Aveeno. It wasn't, some of the Aveeno products also got bad ratings, like 10 to 30 out of 100. So it really depends on which product you're getting. And I got the one that was rated well, and it seems pretty nice. I mean, I think sometimes these ones that are given low ratings because they have, I can't even pronounce some of the names of the preservatives, but they'll have some ingredient that I can't pronounce that gets a bad rating. And also they use petroleum products, but I don't know if petroleum products are actually bad, so I don't know. I don't know if there's specific forms that Yuka is counting as bad. This is something I need to research more. You get mixed opinions on petroleum products for the skin. they are actually really effective at holding moisture in, and I think that's why they use them with these special creams that are made to actually heal the skin. And I think that when they add the petroleum products, so you have other emollients in the product, and then the petroleum products will sort of lock those in and create a barrier so that your skin is protected. But that's not everything. So if it just had a petroleum product in it, it's not going to be in the bad rating with Yuka. It has to have other ingredients that are considered bad. And but it's usually some kind of preservative and plus the petroleum product that is giving all these products bad ratings. So I don't know. I kind of sometimes think it's worth it to heal your skin if your skin is all dry and chapped, and especially people who work with their hands a lot. I have in the past worked with my hands a lot. I'm an office worker now, so like I just use my hands to type on the computer and sometimes handwrite things, but mostly type on the computer. So I don't really do anything that damages, except clean. I clean my house. And I find gloves to be kind of cumbersome. I don't like using them, so that's probably bad. So I have to reinvigorate my skin. But it's really shocking when you get down to all the things that you could put on your skin. That's terrible. I don't know what to say. I did scan like my makeup. I scanned my makeup and it got an excellent rating, so I was happy about that. You know, just the face makeup I wear every day. And some of the other products that I use get an excellent rating. So I replaced some of the products that got bad or poor or bad ratings because I don't really want to use them. If they're products that I use every day, I don't want to be putting something potentially hazardous on my skin. And like I said, I don't really know how hazardous these products are, but if there are other products that I can purchase that will be healthier, then I will do it. So I don't want to be overly scrupulous about my health. I probably won't use that app in the future going forward. I kind of have a sense already of what is healthy and not healthy to consume. I really just didn't have a clue about a lot of ingredients in the skincare products and shampoos and all that I use. I would look for specific things, and if they didn't have those items, then I'd just be like, okay, it's fine. Like synthetic fragrance, I don't really like synthetic fragrance, and I try to avoid it. I try to avoid anything with like aluminum in it, and a lot of companies don't use parabens anymore. In fact, they will advertise that on the label, but a lot of these products that advertise that they don't have parabens, then you get on the Yuka app and they have other ingredients that are just as bad or worse, apparently. So I don't know. It's ever shifting. So I don't want to get paranoid about such things. And so I'll probably remove that app from my phone and just use like some common sense items. I don't really feel like as I grow older that I really want things to be that complicated. And I've never wanted things to be that complicated as far as skincare and hair routine. I just want it to be simple because I don't want to spend a lot of time worrying about it, and that probably shows in my aging skin because I don't care about it as much as maybe I should or other people do. I care, but I don't at the same time. And I do care about how I feel physically. So I have to, like, for example, I have to get at least 5 hours of sleep a night to feel okay. And I don't sleep a lot, and that's just the way I am. It's just kind of just the way I was created, I think. Just not somebody who sleeps a lot. But I have to get like a certain amount of sleep, and I have to eat a particular kind of diet that makes me feel good. But it's not necessarily what the Yuka app thinks is good, because the Yuka app, also one thing that I noticed about it is that anything with saturated fat or sodium gets a bad rating. And you know, a lot of products have sodium, but they have a low enough level that the app doesn't rate it as being poor or bad. But like, for example, butter. Butter gets a bad rating, and a serving of butter really only has 90 milligrams of sodium. Well, if you consider that the average person consumes like 3,000 milligrams of sodium, like 90 is really a drop in the bucket. But it also, so I think butter gets like a 0 out of 100, I'm pretty sure. But I would have to go double check again on that. I don't really care because I know it's saturated fat. I eat it because it's saturated fat. It makes me feel good, and I need to have saturated fat in my diet. I believe that because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel fuller, and it also, I think it gives my brain energy. I think you need cholesterol for your brain. That's what I believe. And I think butter is one of those fats that gets a bad rap, and I just eat it anyway. I don't care whether it's saturated. But the app just has these weird inconsistencies, and I know they probably have some kind of algorithm where they're looking at calories and protein content compared to the fat and salt. So like Greek yogurt gets an excellent rating, and I only get the whole milk Greek yogurt, and it has 5 grams of saturated fat in it, but it says it has minimal effect, and maybe that's because of the high protein content. I really don't know. I just get plain full fat Greek yogurt. That's what I eat a lot. But if you like put in the full fat cottage cheese, for example, that I eat, which I love cottage cheese as well, it gets a lower rating because it has sodium in it. But sodium is a necessary nutrient, and I think it's important to understand that. If you're not somebody who eats a lot of restaurant food or packaged food, you're not going to be getting a lot of sodium from your food unless you're adding it. And so if I see that, cottage cheese is one of the only foods that I eat that has added sodium, and I actually tend to have tanked sodium levels, and I've actually had lab tests where it showed that my sodium levels were below normal, and it actually makes you really sick. Like your heart, the electrical system in your body, including your heart, runs off of sodium and electrolytes, sodium and potassium and magnesium and all of that. It runs off of that. And so if I have low sodium levels, I can feel it because I start feeling like nauseous, dizzy. It does not make me feel very good. And so I tend to put, I'll put grindings of sea salt in my water or whatever, so I'm not like washing more sodium out of my body every time I drink some water, because I'm not getting enough in my diet. But I just try to be more careful about adding enough salt to my diet. I do like flavor in my food, but the amount of sodium that I add to my food, like add to taste, is so much lower than what you would be getting in like a restaurant meal or in a packaged meal. But so if I had a can of green beans instead of fresh green beans, then I would be getting some sodium. But unfortunately, I eat fresh vegetables. Sometimes I eat canned vegetables. Sometimes I'll eat canned tuna. All those have salt, but that's a much smaller part of my diet than eating the fresh food. So I know the Yuka app recognizes and understands that most people eat a lot of takeout food, fast food, takeout food, and they eat a lot of packaged food. And so that's why they are categorizing almost categorically categorizing. That's redundant. They're calling anything with added salt that has 90 milligrams or more. I don't know what the threshold is. It's somewhere around there. 50 milligrams seems to be okay to them, but again, I think it depends on whatever their algorithm is, and of like calories and fat and protein and everything together that creates their rating system. So anything that has like 80 plus maybe is their threshold. I really don't know. They're giving a poor rating for sodium because of the understanding that the American diet is largely packaged and processed foods. and without any acknowledgement that sodium is a necessary nutrient and you really have to have it. And I think that the standard that the medical system has set, and I'm not a doctor, so just you can believe what you want from what I say. I don't know. I wouldn't believe me if I were you, but I think their standard is fairly low. It's below 2,300 milligrams a day. But I have read doctors that say that people should really eat no more than 300 to 500 milligrams. But I can guarantee you that I feel very sick if I have 300 to 500 milligrams of sodium. And I do live in a climate where, I exercise every day, and I do live in a climate where I'm going to sweat because it's hot, so much of the year that probably my needs are a little more than somebody who lives in a different climate, that doesn't get as hot. But, every time I go for a walk, when it's cold right now, but usually in the spring, summer, or fall, it's warm enough that I can work up a sweat when I go for a walk. And same thing when I do my daily workout routine. So that is probably one of the reasons why. And then I don't eat packaged food, and I like to stay hydrated, so I drink water, and all of that's just kind of the perfect package to cause your sodium to drop, and then your whole body is going to feel awful. You will feel it. It feels worse than, so I know what it feels like when potassium levels are low, and I really try to address my potassium levels by eating a lot of high potassium foods. And I know what that feels like, but it's different from low sodium. Low sodium just makes me feel like dizzy and nauseous. It's just not the same as low potassium. And maybe my potassium is never as low as my sodium. I don't know. Because if you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, then you're probably getting at least a modicum of potassium, but you're not getting sodium in that unless, well, there's minuscule amounts of sodium in all fresh food because it's grown in the soil, which has salt content. So I don't know. I'm just rambling now. I just thought that I would maybe focus a little bit more on health and how coffee can be a healthy part of your diet, as can going on walks in the cold wind, which I am going to do. Like I said, I walked to Mass and walked back. It's not very long. But I just wanted to stay out there and make a video, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be out in the cold wind. I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to cold wind. I have to stay moving. Like sitting and making a video in the cold wind just is not very doable for me. Not with a light jacket on. I don't like it. So I don't know if cold wind is good for your health or bad for your health. I think it's good to be cold sometimes, because humans were meant to have a variation of temperatures, to be plunged in cold and heat and etc. We have such regulated environments nowadays, I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, how regulated our environments are. Always keeping things at a constant 70 degrees and never having plunges into ice cold weather or extremely hot weather, unless you work an outdoor job, which of course then you will get those temperature changes. And does it make your immune system robust if you have that kind of job? I don't know. You tell me. Probably can also be very traumatizing to a body, and people who work very hard physical outdoor jobs probably do have a lowered lifespan. Probably. So thank you to all those people who sacrifice themselves so that us spoiled office workers can maintain our ambient temperatures. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to keep healthy as I'm finishing my book, because I don't know, life is hard, and when you go through really rough patches in life, that kind of stress can make everything fall apart for physical health. And you really have to overcome it. Like, you have to do all the things to keep yourself healthy. And like, you have to work harder, I think, is all I'm trying to say. But I am working little by little on finishing my book. I was really, really excited when I first finished and sent it to the editor. I was like, big relief. And then I was super excited when I got it back from the editor and I started working on it. But now I'm stuck on the editing, you know, the final editing phase. But now I'm stuck in the final formatting phase, and it's kind of tedious. I mean, yes, it's not as tedious as it used to be, because it used to be that, you know, you'd use a desktop publisher and you'd have to, it would take hours and hours and hours to go through and make everything exactly the way you want it to be. But now you have programs that do everything for you, like all these advanced programs. It's crazy. So, I mean, I'm not just sedentary, but my life has completely changed over the past, I don't know, 5 or so years, when I used to use all these programs and with ebooks and print, I would like make my own style sheets for my ebooks and code it all myself. And I don't have any kind of degree, didn't know what I was doing. I would just go, and I had this program where I could look at, well, a lot of books, you could just look at their style sheets, and then I would, if I liked elements in their book, I would copy it. I would copy the code in their style sheets. So that's kind of how I learned to make ebooks. I don't, like, probably some of what I did for Anna and the Dragon is deprecated now. I have no idea, but Kindle, KDP, I think they update things so that books are still accessible that are on the market that were put out years ago. I'm pretty sure that they just update their ebooks in their system. So that's my hope. I have no idea what it looks like now, but it used to look good. Like, I looked at it on all kinds of e-readers. Anyway, that's how I learned to make ebooks, just like looking at other people's style sheets and copying and pasting, or Google. Uncle Google would help me find what I wanted, because, so, you know, I used to format books for people, and sometimes they would throw things at me like nonfiction, where they would have a lot of bullet points and footnotes, and I'm like, well, I'm used to doing fiction. I don't have a clue how to do this. So then I would, you know, look that up. Anyway, I said I'm just rambling now. My life is easier in some ways. In some ways, it's just as hard because I'm not done and I'm still working on it, and it'll get done. It'll get done eventually. And I am waiting on my book cover too, so I can't finish until the book cover's done. When the book cover is done, it will really push me into action to finish everything, but I really don't have that. I don't have that fire right now because I don't have a book cover, and I can't publish without a book cover. Well, I mean, I could, but it would be kind of boring and not, you know, I don't make a lot of sales anyway, but would you want to buy a book without a book cover? Probably not. Oh, there would be nothing to draw you in and show you that this book is amazing. And for me, like, my book cover, my last book cover, really has a mystical, beautiful, artistic feel that kind of highlights it has one foot in magical realism, and I think that's what I like about it. It's not just a pure murder mystery. Anyway, and I think the second book cover is going to too, and that is kind of the way my book cover artist, that's the way she does things, kind of like, kind of real, but kind of surreal at the same time. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for enjoying this cup of coffee. If I do play my accordion, I might add a few clips of some beautiful music. I was going to do that for that entry because I never didn't say anything for the entry, because I was going to start my video. I was going to do like this beginning where I was showing you the beautiful columbine in front of the grotto, and then I was going to start talking. I'm like, I can't, it's too cold. I've already said that like 10 times. Yeah, but I thought, well, maybe I could just make an accordion intro and just add it to that beginning. But then I realized that there's actually piano music from the church, emanating from the church. And I think you can hear it in the background. with the wind sounds if you listen really closely. So listen for that. And like I said, if I play my accordion, maybe I'll do an ending clip of the accordion. Yay! Because I'm in love with my accordion. All right, have a great rest of your Sunday.